Hello and welcome to the video lecture series brought to you by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. And we are discussing the subject called Object Technologies and Programming. And today we're going to discuss a left out topic. That is the topic that I have left out intentionally. And that is what are the main differences between the object-oriented paradigm or object-oriented methodology of coding versus the functional type of coding or functional methodology or programming or coding, as you can see. So today we are going to discuss about that. It's going to be a short video, so please be focused. Okay, so we are with the notes. So let's go by the definition. I think we have already gone through the definition, but I'm going to write it out for you. For the object-oriented methodology, it is a programming language, or you can say it is a programming language methodology that uses classes and objects to create model based on real world environment. In OOPS, it makes it easy to maintain and modify existing code as new objects are created from inheriting characteristics from the existing ones. Now we have already seen a lot about these classes and objects, okay, in the last few lectures. So OOPS is basically uh, dependent upon the blueprints and the physical entities, or you can say the virtual entity, physical, or you can say the virtual realities of that blueprint, that is classes and objects. Okay, and we have tailor-made these classes and objects such that one class can inherit the characteristics from other class. One class can encapsulate some of the data from the end users. One class can use abstractations and other some things. Okay, so everything revolves around these classes and objects, or you can say everything is revolving around these objects, not even classes. Classes is just a blueprint. Okay, uh, while in procedural oriented programming, uh, it is a programming methodology that follows a step-by-step approach to break down a task into a collection of variables and routines through a sequence of instructions. Each step is carried out in a order in a systematic manner so that a computer can understand what to do. Okay, so procedural is how uh, uh, you maintain your daily life routine. Okay, because let's look it up. You will get up in the morning, you'll do some morning stuff, then you have your breakfast, then you will get prepared for your office or for your college, then you go to the college, you systematically study classes one by one as your timetable go out, and you'll have lunch, then your evening session of your college or office. After that, you will come home, you will perform some homework or task if it has been assigned to you, and other that. So everything goes on step by step. So your daily routine doesn't depends upon, uh, let's say, any kind of data. While in object-oriented programming, your daily routine depends upon the data, that is your objects. Everything revolves around the objects. It has been made such that everything revolves around the object. While in procedural, that is POP, uh, the data is not the central tendency around which the whole universe of coding is revolving. Okay, yeah, it is just a step-by-step guide how to perform a particular task. It is quite simple as that. Coming on to the next uh, point, that is approach. Now in OOPS, concept of objects and classes is introduced, and hence the program is divided into small chunks called objects, which are actually instances of the classes. Now we have discussed that in great detail. Let me again refresh your memory what it is actually trying to say is. Now in this particular type of methodology, that is OOPS, we have tried to do is we have tried to create your complete code around some data that is called objects, and objects are actually the somewhat physical realization of a particular blueprint, and that blueprint could be termed as classes. Okay, so classes, let me say that classes are kind of inspiration of how a particular thing can be, or how a particular task can be achieved, or you can say how a particular, let's say, entity can be realized. It could have some property, that class could have some properties, could have some methods and else. Okay, so there is no foundation on what a class can encapsulate. But in the end, classes are the blueprints only. And to realize those blueprints in the in active use, we create objects out of it. And those objects are the realities which actually deal with other kind of codes, or which deals with the day-to-day task. And those objects, in accordance with the blueprint, that is their class from of which they are created, uh, will perform some task. They will use all the properties, all the methods that are those are being defined inside the class to perform this particular, let's say, task, or let's say, help out another application. So that is the approach. While in POP, the main program is just divided into small parts based on the functions, and is treated as separate, let's say, code for individual smaller codes. So as you have already coded for your person, for your programming, that it's procedural POP. We have seen that in the C language, which you have must have studied in your first, let's say, first year. There are no classes and no objects. Sorry for that. There are no classes and no objects. Your complete main code is divided into very small parts. Those are called functions, and those functions just perform some smaller tasks, and in conjunction with each other, they try to perform a particular, they try to maintain the sanctity of a main application. So what those smaller functions are trying to do is, by performing with each other, or let's say by performing in a specific order, they are trying to achieve a greater task. So that is the approach taken in your POP. While in OOPS, we doesn't divide our main complete task into smaller tasks. We just divide our task. We doesn't even divide our task. Okay, we just make out a complete blueprint, and then we use those blueprints to our need. Okay, next is third point, that is access modifiers. Now in OOPS, access modifiers are namely as private, public, and protected. I think we have seen those in our abstraction class already. Now these access modifiers actually inhibits the end user from reaching out to the complexities of the code. If a particular, let me go through each of these words separately. If a particular part of code is let's say, modified as public, then everyone in the package, or any user will be able to reach out to that, or the end user will be able to reach out to that code. That user could be some other code, okay, or some other API. So that particular part of your code, or particular class which has been termed as public, is open for extraction, actually, by the use of the access modifier called public. If it is private, then it is completely protected from the end user. That is maybe another API, or some human being interacting with, or trying to see through the code. Okay, the main use of using access modifier private is to is for security, as well as trying to hide the internal complexities of a particular application from the end user, so that the complete process of using a particular application becomes hassle free. So the end user don't have to be an expert while dealing with the application. while these kind of things are not present in your POP, that is your procedural methodology. These kind of things are not there. We don't have such kind of modifiers. Okay, so your complete code is either open for the end user, or completely protected from the end user, but they cannot signify that which part of your code is going to be exposed to the end user and which part of that code is going to be not exposed to the end user or not, there are no security structures present, at least by the language itself, in terms of which you can protect your code from the end user or from the user outside of the package by some means, which is there in your oops. Okay, so access modifiers are vastly used for the protection and abstraction part of your oops methodology. Now, next is security. I think we have already discussed that. Now, due to abstraction in OOPS, data hiding is possible, and hence it is more secure than POP. We have already discussed that. Due to use of these public, private, and protected access modifiers, you can actually hide your data from your end users, or for some other code which is trying to snoop it into your complete package. Okay, which is not present in your POP, which actually makes it very less secure as compared to your OOPS methodology or your OOPS languages. So the your application written in any of the OOPS language are actually more secure than their application which has been written by using the languages which actually implement your POP methodology. Okay. Now last is complexity. Now, OOPS, due to modularity in its code, is less complex, and hence new data objects can be created easily from existing objects, making object-oriented coding easy to modify. On the other hand, there is no simple process to add data to the POP, at least not without revising the whole code. So as you can see, we have already seen few of the examples. I have shown you at least few of the examples, though we have not discussed them. We discussed that due to the structure of classes and objects, the creation of new objects or creation of new classes doesn't hinder the working of other classes and objects. Suppose your end application is actually printing out the complete data about the number of different types of cars available, and we have a parent class called car and then two child classes called as Honda City and Hyundai Verna. Now if in case the market have a new product called, let's say, Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, then creation of the class Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, which inherits the class car, and creation of the object of that class into your main class doesn't hinder the working of the complete application. These things are just independent. They are not dependent on each other at all. The only dependency will be the object of class Maruti Ciaz and the class itself. Otherwise, there is no dependency on any other class onto it. There is no connection between them. One object is completely alien to the object of some other class. Okay, so in that way the complexity is very less, and adding data or adding the few entities to your main application is quite easy, while in POP that is not simple, because everything is uh, we are doing everything in a sequence manner. Okay, that is one thing after this thing after this thing, and if you want to insert any of the new chunk of data, chunk of code into your present application, that then that complete sequence is going to be reinformed, has to have to be reorganized. So in that way your complete application will be completely revised again. So in that way, the complexity, by looking, it may looks like the complexity is less, but reaching out to the application after modifying it is quite difficult. In that sense, you can say the complexity of a POP application is much more as compared to your OOPS application. Okay, so I think you have got the point. All these things you can remember them and try to write these this question in the manner that I have shown you, that is in your notes actually. And if some of these things don't make sense right now because we are just in the first half of the first unit, these things are going to make sense as we go down the complete syllabus. Okay, thank you.